Hello, I am Sebastian Michael. I am a guest lecturer at ATTP, and together with Vera Brunman, I have now for the last 3 years been teaching the substitute course as part of the meta architecture module. My background is the theatre, really. I am a writer, I'm principally a writer. I have also written and directed one feature film and 2 shorts. And I have also in the past performed and do occasionally still do so, very occasionally, but principally I'm a writer, and of quite a spectrum of different interests. I like to borrow a phrase that I can't claim credit to myself. I like to quote Peter Brook, who said that he was interested in the universe and everything that surrounds it. And that pretty much applies. I am interested in everything, really. I find it almost impossible to not find the world that we live in and the people who live in it, and the things that we do fascinating to the point of wanting to write about them. I've also written a novel, and in the last few years I've really spent on quite a large, long, extensive experimental piece called Eden by Fry. I'm calling this a concept narrative in the here and now about the where, the wherefore, and forever. And this started life as a blog and has since been published as a series of paperbacks, which you can see here behind me, these little paperbacks. They are the Eden Miniature series. Incidentally, if you're interested in a play, the easiest one to find is Top Story up there, because it's online. It's on YouTube. If you Google Top Story Sebastian Michael, you'll find the whole thing online. I also wrote the Atlas of Digital Architecture together with and for a whole bunch of 24 different university professors and lecturers, and I've written A Genius Planet together with Vera Brunman and Ludger Hoverstadt, and I also wrote Orlando in the Cities for A Quantum City, and Orlando in the Cities is also available in paperback, also there. You can see it behind me. I come to language really as a practitioner. I should maybe mention that to start with, but I am really not coming to language as an academic. I'm not a literature scholar. I am a writer, and I love language. I actually, to be perfectly honest, I started studying English and German at university in Basel, and I couldn't do it. It was not for me. I wanted to be living in the language and working in and working with it. I have a great and an undying and lifelong love of language, of poetry, of theatre in particular, of poetic language, of the spoken language. The theatre is the space where human drama, human stories, and language as an art form come together, or can come together. This is my background, and what I hope to communicate and what I hope to foster, if you like, and encourage in our students is a love of language, is the joy of finding the right words to express yourself, not only because of the meaning, not only because we want to convey a meaning, because you want to convey information, but for the love of language of itself, for language for the sake of language, if you like, words for the wonder of words. And there is a point to this. To my mind, we as human beings have developed poetry, the arts, music, dance, because we need them. My contention is that we need them. If we didn't need them, we wouldn't have them. We need more than being able to communicate information. and to find the right words for semantic reasons. And the example that I like to give, and that always entertains me greatly, is this one, which I'll play through for you very, very briefly. Of course, I can say to you, you are very beautiful and mild-mannered, and to my mind, this will forever be the case. I say that you will be so forever. Of course, I can say that, and if you're at all conversant in the English language, you will understand what I mean. But what if I say to you instead, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a day. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dim. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, war eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. And you get the point, don't you? This conjures up the entire spectrum of emotions. We have in English this saying, and I think it exists in German too, that a picture paints 1,000 words. And this is absolutely true. A good picture, a good photograph can encapsulate an entire story, can communicate in one glance, and a whole set of dimensions, and a whole atmosphere and context and subtext. And this is all absolutely true. But a few dozen well-chosen words distributed over 14 lines or so can paint 1,000 pictures easily, and that's why I love language, and that's why I'm a writer. That's why I am in this. I cannot ever tire of the wonder of words, and so that's really what I'm doing here at ATTP. I'm trying to, in this course, help communicate and help our students to find a little bit of that wonder too, and it goes beyond that still, because it is one thing, of course, to be able to relish the pleasure, and I do consider it to be a visceral, a physical pleasure, to be able to enjoy language. But that is one thing. But language is incredibly potent. We create our world with language. We think of things, we find names for concepts, and we put them out there. What we talk about and how we talk about things creates realities, it creates culture. It is not a coincidence that some words are considered so offensive and so inappropriate that you can ruin an entire career by simply saying the wrong word in the wrong context. So language is powerful in a very fundamentally inherent sense. Language has a power of its own, and with it we create and shape and describe the world, and we therefore have to know what we're doing. And much as we can create anything that we can imagine, we can create with language. So language creates us. We are not separate from the language we inhabit. The language inhabits, shapes, makes us. And so we need to be competent. We need to know how to use language. We need to We need to be conscious and conscientious in what it is we're saying and how we're saying it and how what we're saying comes across. And so beyond the communicating, beyond imparting and sharing my love of language, which is absolutely one of the principal purposes of my being a part of this course. Beyond that, it is also my great desire to help our students to become competent in and conscientious and aware of the language they use and how they can use language and how they can be language. My contention is that we don't speak language, we don't write language. Yes, of course we do, but we are our language, and our language is and makes us. And so it is incumbent on us as citizens and as grown-ups and as responsible human beings to become, I would say, to master. We don't all have to become professional writers. We don't all have to become authors. We don't all have to become experts, if that exists, at language. But we have to master our code of communication, which is language. And that's what I'm hoping to contribute at ATTP.